Hi, we're the Kids in the Hall. I'm Mark. This is Dave, Bruce, and Scott.
Hi. And Kevin. I'm here. There's 5 of us.
I really wanted to be in the Kids in the Hall. That was the truth of it. I saw one of their shows at the Rivoli, and I was like, oh my God, what can I ever do on Saturday Night Live that would be nearly as cool and fresh as that?
I remember the first time I saw them, I think Rivoli. I thought they were funny, smart, original. It was nothing like what I'd been doing on SNL.
Now, strategically, I'm going to sit on the end, the power position.
Kids in the Hall make me laugh. And almost nothing makes me laugh.
I think we're ready to start the show and let the slaughter begin!
You can't fool a devoted comedy fan about quality, and that's what Kids in the Hall is.
I'm touching your head.
If you were in the comedy world, you knew Kids in the Hall. And if you didn't, it was like, what are you doing here?
They were just fucking funny.
Action, Bruce! I have a cabbage for a head!
They were kind of the only comedy group that reflected Gen X.
There's nobody that was more influential for my money than those guys.
They're just doing what they're doing. They don't give a fuck.
Want to know something? I'm a bad doctor.
Anarchic, rebellious.
One of a kind.
Canadian.
The Kids in the Hall taught me that things were possible growing up in Toronto, and that was a big influence on me.
Evil! Impolite and evil!
And they were groundbreaking, they were kind of multi-sexual, multi-gender. I don't know what the fuck they were.
If you're gay in our eyes, you made it. Message received.
The kids all played women with such empathy, and sometimes they were freaking gorgeous.
You have to be able to find what's funny in some pretty dark places.
Daddy drank.
But I know it helped me be sillier as a defense system, I guess.
Comedy doesn't have to come from a quagmire, but a lot of us are broken toys.
Comedy is ultimately about one thing, laughing in the face of death.
We came together for each other, and we're going to keep doing it until we can't do it.
All right, here we are, the Kids in the Hall. This feels epic having you guys here.
So you've never seen anything epic? It was in Calgary.
Yes, this is a typewriter scene. I must be in Calgary.
Trying to do comedy somehow, then stumbled into the Loose Moose Theater. It was theater sports, very democratic form, competitive improvisation. It was wild, the crowd was hot.
And now the audience team, Big Bill Yellow, Big Norm Hiscock, Bigger Marketing, Great Big Huge, Frank Van Diegen.
It was brilliant. If I'd ever had to think my way on stage, I never would have been able to do it. It had to be accidental and with little time for consideration.
I went to Mount Royal College. I was in the midst of doing business, and I walked into theater sports, and it felt like I was coming out of the closet. Like, this is what it's like to find religion. I just saw these people on stage making shit up, and I thought, oh, fuck, I want to do that. Well, it all happened very fast once I got to Loose Moose. I think within probably 2 months, I met Mark.
I remember vividly one of Bruce's first scenes was painting the stage with his head.
I remember he was doing some scene where he needed a piano and he was taking so long to rehearse. And I kind of said, how fucking long are you gonna need to rehearse? And that's sort of my first memory of our complicated, beautiful friendship.
I met Kevin in the very first Second City improv workshop I went to at the old fire hall. We were randomly paired up for an exercise.
We did the mirror exercise where we mirror each other's movements. We started doing it funny,
and sort of comically. It's just like we had chemistry right away. And like getting comedy chemistry is sort of like falling in love with someone. He was like my first girlfriend.
And it really was love at first sight, because we were like, before we knew anything about each other, we were able to make each other laugh, and we were able to pick up on each other's rhythms immediately. And that's never changed. It's still like the most integrated I feel with another comedian.
I went to class and was over. I went to Dave. I didn't know his name, and I asked him to join my troupe, and I didn't have a troupe. And Dave said yes right away. Yeah, it sounds like fun. And that's how the Kids in the Hall started.
Lava, lava, molten hot lava. Molten rock, yes, magma.
We did theater sports in Toronto for a year or so. We were good, but we were learning at the same time, so we were rough good. And we'd heard about this theater sports troupe in Calgary called The Audience.
So we'd heard about them, they'd heard about us.
Bruce came to Toronto first, and he seemed like an odd little fellow. And I said, what's with that guy?
Here he comes.
And then I saw him do comedy and realized he was hilarious.
My heart goes. His heart goes.
Dave and I were in a lineup to watch the Second City Improvs, and Mark was there. And we met him, and he was like a normal-looking guy with glasses. And I'd heard that he was a genius. And I remember saying to Dave, he's not funny.
Yeah, he delights in telling me this. The first time he met me, he thought, that guy's not funny.
What is this strange, bizarre instrument that you men do bring here? What is that there? It must be a sign from the gods that they wish us to evolve. Yeah.
And then we saw them perform in theater sports, and he was brilliant.
And after that first show of seeing each other perform, we sort of said, hey, let's just do stuff together.
Yeah, we worked as two separate troupes on the same bill a lot.
And we kept hitting our heads in blackouts, so
Yeah.
we just formed one troupe.
And I'd like to say we flipped a coin, because The Audience was my title. But thank God I didn't win that fight.
We agreed on the name Kids in the Hall. I remember Bruce saying, okay, but just for now, because I hate that fucking name.
The Kids in the Hall. The fuck does that mean? You know, Guar. That's a name. A producer hired the original Kids in the Hall to do a show, and we had a different name then. He told us the story of the Jack Benny show, that there would be kids who would hang around in the halls trying to sell jokes to Jack on his way in and out of the studio, and they were referred to as the Kids in the Hall. And I just looked up at one point, and it was us four. And then Scott came. See how I acted that out, Scott coming?
My family were funny. Every dinner was basically, what happened that day? Who did you see that was an idiot? Let's make fun of them. Everything was about making people laugh. But when I was at York University, I had no intentions of being a comedian. I was in theater, I was in acting. I wanted to be a movie star. I wanted to be James Dean.
So when was your kind of comedy is who I am moment then?
Well, it wasn't until it was meeting the Kids in the Hall.
Anyone see my
They were just goofing around, and it seemed it's like so much fun, and yet it was also acting.
I did this really terrible scene about a murder mystery, and there was jelly donuts.
Look under your seat, there's a donut for you. I don't know, can't even remember. Kevin?
And that scene went horribly. And then they started throwing them at us.
And I remember Bruce going, what the fuck, who's throwing donuts? And it was obviously me, because there was only about 7 people in the audience.
This is typical Scott Thompson. As he was throwing the donut, yelling us fuck off, he said, I'm gonna join that troupe.
I just had to make them notice me.
Oh, that's crazy.
I remember seeing an improv at Theater Sports, and Scott was on stage.
I did this sketch, which was absolutely terrible. It was about like a mimed crap in a toilet.
Mimed reaching in and holding up the log going, he is my lover! And I laughed. Maybe one other person across the crowd laughed, and it was kind of like, I like that guy.
Scott brought our level up because he would want to eat the stage. It's like a hedgehog. And we had to eat the stage as well to compete with him.
Did feel like there was a missing piece that suddenly wasn't missing. We weren't even entirely
aware was missing.
One day, they improvised a little song about me being a member of the Kids in the Hall.
And Scott's a kid in the hall. And Scott started crying and smoking.
The moment they invited me in, I was never leaving. No one was getting in after me. I threw away the key then.
As a young man, this place in Queen Street was the most important half mile in the world to me. Just this fucking place, this Rivoli, and all the cool waitresses with their leather aprons.
Queen Street was like a magical place, especially from the suburbs. It was just a street where everyone wore black and didn't smile. That was where it was happening. Whatever dream I had of what I was going to be, it was going to happen there.
Just a real melting pot of creativity. It was about video, it was about dance, it was about comedy. There was always something going on, and the Rivoli was the center.
Come, camera person.
Yeah. I used to help set the lights and I would
And
set
your
the stage.
job-
Scott would grab all the space to lay out his many costumes. The stage consisted, if you were standing on stage, of this.
Yeah.
There was a side stage there.
Like someone would say something here, and the lights would go down here, and then lights would come up here, and 2 or 3 of us would act out what was just set up over there.
I don't know how we survived because like the first year and a half of the Rivoli, it was like 17, 20 people, maybe 35 on a good night. There was no heat to it, but we were liking each other a lot.
99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer. You take one down, you pass it around, and 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
We did lots of shows for nobody and kept doing them and kept doing them. And I think I needed all of that repetition and experimentation and failing so much to find our lane.
Your old friends are outside, so we thought we'd like to do an improv. Fight fire!
I did a lot of improv with the Kids in the Hall at the Rivoli. And it was very, very satisfying to kill in front of a Queen Street crowd. I always aspired to be in the Kids in the Hall. That was my big thing. They were like a band that only knew 3 chords, but they were 3 great chords and had great energy.
The first time I saw the Kids in the Hall was a revelation. I'm sitting in the Rivoli with maybe 20 other people and thinking, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
My sister's boyfriend had a video camera, which I used to drag over to the Kids in the Hall shows.
It was very nice, wasn't it? Oh, your video was fun.
So I videotaped a lot of the very early shows. It was very much of a new approach to comedy, somewhat grounded in a personal experience,
Oh, we're there! Oh, we're there! Open up the window, we're here!
which I found fascinating because, honestly, nobody else was doing that.
In the suburbs, they melt into night as we become our dads.
One of our first sketches that Bruce wrote was a scene called The Suburbs. Oh, what's the line from the song? I can see the something of the suburbs. I forget. You'll research it, you'll find it.
I want you to look into my eyes and see the power of the suburbs.
Four Kids in the Hall grew up in the suburbs. The suburbs are uniform and boring. I think the suburbs really wreaked havoc on our mind.
Maybe the burbs are getting too tight around my neck. Maybe the suburbs, the noose, choking me. Mom!
Mark comes from a different kind of a world than we do.
Coming from a family of diplomats, fairly cultured community. You know, first I thought my outsider status was my own personal failings, and then gradually I started to follow it.
I was going to be the prime minister of this country, but I was 20, there was acid going around. I didn't study, I skipped classes, I went to Calgary, I got into theater. Excuse me, I have to go act.
Calgary. It was a very homophobic oil town where guys drove around in trucks and chased me down the street. I sought refuge first in sports, and then, of course, in rock music. Right when punk started, I remember hearing God Save the Queen, the 45, and just it blowing my fucking mind. It was like sex, anger, society doesn't have to be like this. It was like a capsule of heroin right to my brain. Does heroin come in capsules? I don't think so.
Bruce was so cool, it was intimidating. I remember one of our first conversations, I didn't know what to say, so I asked, what music do you like? And he said, Lou Reed, The Birthday Party, and of course, Iggy.
But I was obsessed with music in a way that I'm not now.
I was obsessed with punk. I was obsessed with rebelling.
You don't have to be into music.
The attitude.
Yeah.
I would say so. Anyone want to flip me on that?
Yeah,
you don't have to be music to have a punk attitude.
Well, I remember hearing that they were like these new hot guys on the scene and that they were kind of punk rock and that it was like this new cool thing that was unlike anything else that was happening.
Lately at work, I'm hearing a lot of guys bitching about their job. Not me. I like my job. My job, I'm a faggot.
Back then, being gay was the ultimate act of rebellion, in a way. There was something actually dangerous about putting a gay subject on stage.
Yeah, cocksucking, man's job. Oh, fuck me. Running faggot, running free, see the faggot, see the running faggot.
I loved that Scott was gay, and I loved that he brought that material to the show.
We used homosexuality as a weapon to bash squares.
It was my first knowledge of somebody being openly gay, doing a character that was queer positive, that was unashamed. And so for my small suburban world, that was mind-blowing.
I knew within this group I could be myself. Every moment of my life as a young person was about concealment. My father was violent. I have a joke where I just go, he tried to beat it out of me, but all it did was make me like it rough. So.
I used to blame my dad for making me gay. If I was gay in a homo-positive society, it wouldn't be a big deal, right? So I thought, aha, I'll blame society. So I had my dad's chip, and I thought I'd add myself another chip, a hatred against society. And they balanced each other out. And now I move like a runway model.
They wanted to create comedy that upset and pleased people at the same time, pushing away from that middle-class respectability, especially for 5 young comedians who basically are trying to carve out careers doing everything but what their parents did.
Happy birthday, son.
The cavalcade of bad parenting is spectacular.
I just can't drink like I used to when I was 40.
Just the most misguided, miserable people, but miserable in new and original, exciting ways to be miserable.
My dad, Hammy, was a famous drunk. He would do something horrifying. Like once he chased me around the table with a knife. But I know it helped me be sillier as a defense system, I guess. I've used many horrible things that he did, like, that he did and said.
Daddy drank. Son, how many girls called you today? 0.
Right. How many girls called you yesterday? 0? Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, son. 0 + 0 equals fag!
My dad said that.
It's pretty common that if you're a child of an alcoholic, you learn to be very observant. Just as a self-preservation tactic, you have to be very aware of other people's emotional states, which I think lends well to being a comedian.
We were all very much trying to prove to our dads, maybe, that we were men. And by dressing up as women.
You know, I bet it came as a bit of a shock to find you had me as a new mom, huh?
Dave was the first one that I saw playing a woman. I remember that. And he had a sweater over his shoulder. And that's when I went, oh, that was pretty cool. And that's how they played women. And then we had a sweater that everybody would share.
Well, this is my door here. Thank you for the lovely evening.
We played all the women just with posture and our voices. We would just change the way we stood and moved and talked. The audience would suspend disbelief and they would accept us as women when we were playing the female roles.
Hello? Tiffany? Tabitha? What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I was just calling you. I was just calling you. But it didn't ring. It didn't ring here either. Oh, my God.
The evolution was slow, and it's like, oh, I guess I'm playing a woman too? And then we just started playing women. And I was like, I don't know if am I in drag? I think I'm playing a woman.
You see, my watch has stopped. It's very important that I make it to this meeting, so if you could just... I'm sorry. I'm seeing someone.
My mom definitely was horrified when I told her that my character Nina was slightly based on her.
You're hi, I'm Nina. Hello, I'm Danny.
Hello, Nina.
How are you?
Fine, fine. Thank you very much.
Hi, hello, everyone. Hi, Nina.
She
Joy
was
Baker.
like, what? That awful woman?
919, take 3.
They just played women like they were characters. It was believable, it was real, it was grounded. It doesn't feel like we're gonna do this thing where we put on wigs and talk about periods.
For I have a good attitude toward menstruation.
And of course, it was to make these women have important voices, the outsiders and feminists, and like, that's what Kids in the Hall, that's our people.
Thank you. Our next show at the Rivoli will be in 2 weeks' time. We're doing a 3-day run on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to the end of February. For those of you who are sick to death of our old material, we'll be doing pretty well all new stuff, so come on down.
For sure, for a while, it really didn't work. And I think we couldn't look each other in the eyes and go, is this working? What's our plan?
It wasn't all not working. But of course, when you're young and
We
one
like
person
shows.
says, hey, you guys are kind of brilliant, you can live on that
Yeah. Right.
in lieu of food for 2 weeks.
And audiences-
And every now and again, a sketch would hit.
I'm crushing your head. Your heads are being crushed. Die,
When we picked the best sketches, the ones that had been hitting all along, and put them together in a show and put them in the right order, it was a really good show, and it was definitely us. It was like zoom, snap into focus what we were about.
The show suddenly really caught on. We went from playing to about 5 to 10 people a night to suddenly having the Rivoli with like 400 people packed into it.
All of the 10,000 hours on stage had paid off. I saw one of their shows at the Rivoli. I was like, oh my God. And it's almost kind of like the difference between early Sex Pistols and late Clash.
I remember coming one day, and there was people lined up, and it's like, oh, is there another show that's on before us? It's like, no, they're lining up now for your show that's in 2.5 hours. It's like, holy fuck.
For the next few months, it was always sold out, and we sort of became a thing. Small cult thing within a cult world called Queen Street.
Felt great. It felt like momentum, that it was leading somewhere.
We got an amazing review in the local paper. I'm not even gonna name it. That's how cool I am.
There we were in the Globe and Mail, and there was this kind of glorious review, the review that you would want, which just basically said, here come the kids in the hall. That day, the SNL Talent Scouts were landing in Toronto to do their traditional trip to go look at just the Second City. But there we were on the front of the Globe and Mail entertainment section, and they were kind of, oh, we better go see them too.
The phone rang, and I picked up the phone, and it was this woman. And she said, oh, I'm scouting talent for, Lorne Michaels. We'd like to come see your show. And I said, well, you can't, because it's sold out. And they said, well, no, this is from Saturday Night Live. We're scouting for Saturday Night Live. And I said, well, yeah, the run is sold out, so I'm sorry about that. Maybe you can try to scalp tickets from somebody. And then I hung up the phone, and the other 4 guys looked at me and was like, what the fuck did you just do? And I said, I made a mistake, right?
Good evening, I'm Lorne Michaels, and at this point in the show, we'd like to pause a moment to examine a grave national crisis.
Everyone in the world who ever worked with Lorne does a Lorne impression. The reason Chaplin was a much bigger star than Buster Keaton.
Bruce, do you know Madonna?
You doing anything this fall, Mark?
You know, the thing about Kevin is he's there, but he's quiet, but he's loud, but he's there, but he's quiet, and he sits a lot.
I think when you're the boss, people make fun of the boss. I thought they were fresh, it was original, and I thought they were funny, and I thought I knew how to make it work.
I can be your video mirror. Although it's not.
It's Lorne Michaels. For a Canadian, that's even bigger than some shithead American because he really did good. Like, he went and he conquered America. The kids represented to him another attempt at kind of Canadian greatness.
There was an audition at the Rivoli of our best of Closed Door, which I guess is the SNL way.
We put together 12 or 15 sketches for these comedy giants.
For the first time ever, the competition got a little ugly during that week because we were sort of all fighting to get our scenes in.
I remember the first time I saw them, the Rivoli, it was just energy and it had juice, and you just could tell that it was smart and nothing like what I'd been doing on SNL, and I liked all of that.
And you couldn't tell if they were laughing because people by themselves don't really laugh. And after the show, Lorne said, you guys are funny, but what are we going to do with 5 of you?
And then it became sort of the most tense time in our lives. After they left, what was going to happen? Are they going to take us all? Are they going to take any of us? None of us?
And then a few weeks later, Bruce afterwards says, guys, I got to tell you something. They want Mark and I to write for them, and that's how we found out.
Saturday Night Live. They pick us as writers, which is huge fucking news, which must have been fucking hard for the other guys. Yeah.
Great for them, and great that the kids in the hall did something, and but horrible that it wasn't me. Though, sorry.
It felt like maybe this was the end. Bruce and Mark were off in New York doing this fantastic thing. Poor Scott, Kevin, and Dave left behind with a bag full of old wigs.
We'd done a big last show before they left, and that was a huge night, and that was really packed. And we, the kids, were all sort of crying on stage and going, well, we're really excited for Mark and Bruce, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future with the troupe, but thank you all for being here.
But you didn't get the room?
No. Apparently it was a technical oversight of some clerk.
5 seconds.
Here it comes.
4, 3, 2.
Take.
Mark and Bruce made perfect sense to just give them that experience of this is the way a show gets mounted.
I literally went from working at the Second Cup, and 2 weeks later, I was showing Madonna my sketch.
Saturday Night Live, I wasn't very good at it. I'd always be fighting with them about, like, the weird ideas I wanted to do. It was a big machine. I guess I was overwhelmed.
It was all awful. Tortuous, agonizing, nerve-wracking, exhausting. But it really wasn't fun.
I remember going down to see them. Bruce had gained a ton of weight, and they looked terrible, both of them. They weren't happy.
Through that process of sort of failing at Saturday Night Live, I realized how much I needed the kids in the hall.
And then when we got back at Christmas, it was like a reunion of hungry lovers.
You guys are the unsung heroes that you came back, because usually any other troupe would split up, but you guys kept coming back.
Yes.
And it sort of
Did you see the SNL that year?
There was real affection between the 5 of them, and I thought, you have to keep this group together.
The beers is freeze the Coke. Is this on? Am I on right now?
I've got to talk to the pilot.
Give it a rest, Hills.
True to myself.
Give it a rest, Hills.
If it wasn't for the performance marks, Scott Thompson and I showed nightly underneath those hot lights, this troop would not be on this plane, headed on this adventure. No.
It was in the fall of 1987, and Lorne brought all 5 of them to New York. The idea was that they would write and perform material working towards a 1-hour pilot.
That's New York!
This is West 23rd. YMCA that Paul went to.
Lorne paid us in cash like a father. Oh, you did the lawn and you've got your paper route and you took the garbage out? Here's $5. We're really young. It's like the 80s, the late 80s in New York.
We've got a big night ahead of us. The ecstasy is kicking in. Very long.
We were young men who had been given the keys to the kingdom. Let's just say some of us were burning the candle at both ends.
I'd like to introduce you to some New York hot dogs.
This boy, you take my goddamn car. I'll fucking kill you. Come on, boy. White leather fits you.
They were just young and loose and wanted to do a million things.
Do you know where your children are? There it is. Oh no, it can't be that.
During the days, we concentrated on writing the pilot. That was what we were there for. The shows were to keep us from not going rusty, and Lorne said to toughen us up with American audiences.
Dirty girl, dirty girl.
There was a sense of they have to develop their best pieces, get them ready for television.
Lorne would just give us our marching orders every week. He'd say, I want you to open for this person, this person, and this person. You're gonna do these shows, and then we'll see what you do next week.
I just needed them to have a level of seasoning that they weren't going to get if they just stayed at the Rivoli.
Come, Lou. Did you come good, Lou? Did you come, Lou? Did you come good, Lou?
If you look at those 5 guys, that's a group of odd fuckballs. You know, I mean, really, we talk about weird. I met the kids in the hall while running a room called the West Bank Cafe downstairs theater bar, about 100 seats, nice little small stage, perfect kind of a setup to work on projects.
Lewis was one of our first fans, and I think he kind of said, like, come on, they're good, you know, and gave us some support.
I was encouraging because I really did think, boy, you know, they were just fucking funny.
Look, if I slept with you, it would only be out of pity. Hey, I'm the king of the mercy fuck.
I mean, the great thing about comedy, when comedy is really good, is it brings another point of view, and they had established another point of view.
We'll wash him in wine and make him all clean. And into Sam Siddle's crucifixion machine.
They're going back to Toronto to do the pilot, and I said, I think you're close, but think you can do it better.
You know, they say lightning doesn't strike twice. Like now, they can't strike 19 times.
It was hot and cold. An audience would like us, an audience wouldn't like us. An audience would like us, an audience wouldn't like us.
It was sort of like Toronto, where we kind of kept at it, and then something sort of sparked. But we were spending all our money for the pilot on the 4 apartments we were in, and we felt like it might not happen after all.
This is CBC.
My manservant here on Earth at the CBC, Yvonne Fitzon, Director of Programming.
I was friendly with Yvonne Fitzan, and I remember phoning him, and he took my call, and I said, why don't you invest in the Kids in the Hall show?
I always wanted to do something with the kids. They were brash, they were fresh. Lorne and I had talked about, wouldn't it be great to do a show? A lot of the CBC shows at that time were skewing old, and I kind of wanted something for people under 40.
Without further ado, the Kids in the Hall.
It was a pilot for a series. It was billed as a special at the time, but to us it was a pilot. Our hope was that it would do well enough for a series.
The shooting was in CBC Studios, and key guys from SNL came up from New York to help build the sets and light it.
At that time, the pickup between pilot and series was like 1 in 10. There was a lot riding on it for them.
The stakes were like incredible. It was like all or nothing. I remember being really nervous. The pilot has become a show or I'm a movie usher.
I was not feeling good during any of this. Even though I think we knew the material, it was sweaty. Like, it had to work. It had to work.
What they were about to go through was sort of professional show business, and they'd never been in front of television cameras, which was a whole other set of skills.
We did 2 tapings with 2 audiences, and the first taping, we were scared. I remember peeing and thinking, have my balls retreated back into my body?
Even though we'd been rehearsing all week with cameras, I remember when it started, do I turn to the audience or by the camera? But the first show, nobody laughed.
It was a shit show. And it was kind of like the only time Lorne ever yelled at us. He sort of fucking told us to get it together.
He said something like, it's going to be 19 times better. What? Is that mathematically possible? 19 times better. You know, first have a chance of selling it.
I could have told them that it was perfect. I would have been lying. And the essence of show business is you have to get off the stage to make another entrance.
The message was, you let me down, and this is your big chance.
That kind of got our punk rock blood flowing. So I guess some of us got angry at Lorne for saying it. I know I got angry with us for allowing ourselves to be so lame. So we put on some loud punk rock music and we just started smashing up all the furniture in the dressing room.
I didn't trash the dressing room. I'm a diplomat's child. We don't trash fucking dressing rooms. Kevin, did you trash your dressing room?
No. For Good Luck Scott and I peed in the sink.
And so when we came out of that room, we proceeded to just give the performance of a lifetime.
Hey, you millionaires! Get out of that garbage! I'd like to meet a girl. Whoa! Oh, a woman.
Here, let me help you with your sweater clip. Oops, the wind.
Second show really felt like a Rivoli show.
It was fantastic. Characters that I had seen for 4 years on the Rivoli stage were now fully costumed and on sets, and they were real. They became alive.
Hey, I'm the king of the Mercy Fire! Easy to beat up, hard to kill.
When I saw their pilot, I went into an existential depression because I realized that they had done everything that I'd ever wanted to do. It was, to this day, I think it's a near perfect comedy pilot.
He was just so depressed after watching it because he said, oh, fuck, you guys did it. You guys did what everybody wants to do. Fuck. And he was just really mad.
See that? Your head's flat. Is your mother still dressing you? She should have just crushed your head. Good night.
We were in the middle of rehearsal, and someone from CBC came and said, Mark, some distinguished sounding gentleman wants to speak to you. And we thought, oh, is it Lorne? Lorne always talked to Mark, because Mark wasn't from the suburbs, because he's a diplomat's son.
I took the call, and it was, well, congratulations, they want 22. And we were like, what?
It was 20. It was 20 episodes, yeah.
And he said, well, did we get it? Did we get it? And he was so shell-shocked. He said, wait till you hear. He kept saying that for, it seemed like 5 minutes. It was probably 30 seconds. Wait till you hear. Wait till you hear. What is it? We got a show. Oh, good. Oh, good. Thank you. How many, 10 episodes? Is no. 12 episodes? No. 20 episodes a season. What?
Did you say yes? Who is this? Who am I talking to? Home box office?
HBO put in the cash.
Oh, boys.
We put in the crews, the facilities. We were able to cobble together enough to do a show.
We're on.
excellent news, Prick.
Well done, Prick.
Champagne. To me, when you play that.
Before the show, what do I feel? I feel up, I feel down, I feel asleep, I feel more excited than I've ever been, I feel traumatic, I feel bored.
We did not know TV. So the first season is full of sketches that were done at length without much editing. There were great hits at the Rivoli at 11:39 at night.
On stage, you just do things, right? You make your entrance, blah, blah, blah. Television is a beast. And I remember at the taping of Dr. Seuss Bible, Scott had to do that crucifixion pose for so long. And of course, your arms just atrophy. And he was literally in agony having to do those long takes.
Hurry up! Let's do it. Come on, hurry. My arms are gonna literally fall off. Let's go. Ready, and ready. Quiet, please. And let's go. Ready. Now you walk towards camera. Beta's rolling. Action, Bruce.
Crew were like old, crusty CBC lifers. They developed crushes on different characters. Crew guys come up to me going, so, Dave, you gonna be that redhead tonight?
When will this nightmare end?
Yeah, no, I'm not doing the redhead tonight. Ah, fuck. Okay.
Anybody that says they didn't get a little crush on Dave when he was certain female characters is just lying.
This came.
I was very obsessed and confused by Dave in drag and found him very sexy.
Dave was hot. What are you gonna say? He was hot.
There's no debating it. In drag, I was the sexiest.
Bruce McCullough, ladies and gentlemen. Bruce McCullough.
It was the most fun to do live tapings and have people come again like they lined up at the Rivoli.
My friend Sue had cool older sisters, and her cool older sister Julie knew somebody who worked on the crew, and that person was friends with Bruce, and that's how we got hooked up for tickets. So we went to the CBC studio, and then the cameras come in, and there's this platform high up to our left, and I was like, what's that for? And then the show starts, and shadowy men are playing on the platform, so they're playing live.
The song Having an Average Weekend was on our first 7-inch single. That sort of like became the theme song, the thing that they opened all their shows with.
The shadowy men are what made us cool, if we're at all cool. And they would play, and it rocked hard.
We played every single taping of every episode. You can just go doom, one note, and it's like pushing a button. People know it. It's a thrill seeing people kind of like get all excited about it.
Sometimes Dave and I, in between scenes, would dance in front of the audience, and the audience would love that.
Our hair, makeup, and wardrobe team would be like a pit crew and swap you from one to the other in about 15 minutes. And then you'd be back out on the floor dancing to the shadowy men again.
We'd like to thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we'd like to thank the Shadowy Men.
When it finished, we were just like beyond excited, and we were like, we got to do this every taping. We got to come back. We got to bring all of our friends. And then it was the hottest show in town, and there was no way.
Hey, I'm on TV. And so are the kids in the hall.
All of a sudden, they were everywhere. And they were groundbreaking. They were kind of multisexual and multigender. I don't know what the fuck they were.
These guys were fucking all world, the coolest motherfuckers on TV, and they were ours.
Americans know as much about Canada as straight people do about gays.
I saw them evolve to becoming unbelievable professionals. They became their own entity, and I was blown away.
I immediately knew this was good. The range, the insanity.
We would like 2 shitty suits. 2 shitty suits.
Gentlemen, this is a business meeting!
Grew up with Python, watched SNL in junior high. After you get a training bra, you graduate to the kids in the hall.
Scora! Look skyward, moron! I
I was so amazed by how young and fresh-faced everybody was. Nobody looked dangerous, but clearly there was an intellect there. All 5 of the kids seemed so confident as actors in their ability to morph into these various characters.
Michelle, are you crying? No, I am not crying. I'm just thinking about Tony.
It just felt like it was really them. They're playful. They kind of don't give a fuck. You felt the enjoyment of them being free.
Saturday Night Live always covers what's ripped from the headlines. Kids in the Hall were never about that. They weren't so much riffing on pop culture. The kids examined everyday Americana.
It's not like a political sketch or about some protest or something. It's about people and like their faces.
They were 5 sexy boys romping around like the goddamn Beatles in Hard Day's Night. They were fucking adorable.
Has the show's success changed their lives that much?
Well, we have a bit more money now.
Kids in the Hall I just took to immediately, and I remember crashing a party they were at. Oh my God, it's so amazing.
Show business is fun, like real show business. American show business is fun. I loved it.
I used to like to go to bars and just write my ideas. And when the show came on the air, I couldn't do that anymore. They'd go, hey, Bruce!
I had a girlfriend, and we were like making out, and then TV was on, and I saw a Kids in the Hall scene where I was a woman. It was kind of weird.
What did people say about our show?
Yeah.
They thought it was daring, original.
I love it. All my friends love it.
Do they like it on HBO? Do they,
Yeah, I think HBO are really happy.
Yeah.
The reviews
fans
are really
seem
good.
happy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Fans.
Yeah, they seem to
It's
really
just
like
barely
it.
plural, though.
We were rehearsing. Someone from CBC came and said, Mark, a distinguished sounding gentleman wants to speak to you.
Hello? Yes, I took that call too. So yeah, we got canceled.
Then Mark came and told us. It was sort of shock.
It felt like it was over.
I didn't think of it as in any way a judgment on whether the show was good or bad. It was purely economics and what HBO was going through at the time. The great part about groups is there's strength in unity. You go get a drink afterwards, you sit and talk, and you have an ally.
We all went out to this sort of dive bar, sat and made each other laugh for about 2 hours, getting drunk and just mocking our own fate.
There was a recognition that we'd all worked our asses off, and now we're canceled. And what now?
And of course, arrogantly, I thought, you can't stop us. I don't know what's going to happen, but you can't stop us.